Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Earlier this week I got to go to my first ever movie premiere and I want to say thank you so much to the team at The Real Thing, which airs on channel C31 every week, for giving me the opportunity to see this film early, as well as Paramount Pictures and Tom Cruise. Even though the film isn't due out for another week, I knew I wanted to release my thoughts on it. So this is Kia's Reviews and this is my review of Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick is a sequel that lives up to its classic and surpasses its quality with incredible dogfight sequences, an amazing soundtrack, wonderfully developed characters, and is able to honour the original by going along almost the exact same tropes but doing it in a new way that feels refreshing, new and exciting. While the original 1986 classic will be remembered more than its sequel, the quality and strength of Top Gun Maverick outweighs that of its predecessor. From the first few seconds you know what you're getting yourself into. You're here to see Top Gun, and that means fast planes, Tom Cruise, and intense action. The only way I can truly pass on my feelings in those first 5 minutes is by describing it as a build-up that you'd expect from a concert. Before the artist comes out and you're ready for the show, there's 3 minutes of music to get you excited and pumped for the experience you're about to go on for the next 2 hours. Top Gun Maverick is no different. Whether you're looking forward to this movie or not, those first 5 minutes are arguably the best moments in the film, since it gets everyone excited for what they're about to see. Tom Cruise was ready to give his all with this film. While I wasn't expecting the heights of the recent Mission Impossible films, I had some expectations regarding how crazy the stunts would be, and while the film does linger and focus on its characters and story, the final hour or so delivers exactly what fans of the original are wanting. The sound design for the engines of these planes are comparable to that of how I felt watching the Batmobile starting its engines in The Batman earlier this year. The roar of these planes bursts your eardrums, but it fuels that excitement as an audience member that you're going to be completely enthralled with what this movie has to offer. To know that Tom Cruise really flew these planes and at the speed that they were at was astounding, but also completely crazy. I'm sure visual effects were used at times, but it never felt like there were. You genuinely believed that Maverick was up in the air the entire time with all of the other pilots. The cinematography I felt wasn't as sickening as it could have been, as the fast pace of the planes going past on screen and all their quick turns could have been very disorienting, but the way it was shot was quite considerate. When you buy a ticket to either of the Top Gun movies, you know what you're getting, so while this film is completely predictable, it works in its favour because that's what you're expecting. Top Gun Maverick isn't aiming to change the perception of cinema forever or aim to win Best Picture or any massive awards. It's made to entertain and to give audiences 2 hours of adrenaline-fueled fun. That's exactly what we got, and I couldn't have been happier with everything it delivered. It retains the editing style of the original and quite a lot of aspects from the first movie. The dialogue is cheesy, so much so that Top Gun Maverick feels like it's taken you back to the thrills of 1986. That's what I loved because it was entirely aware of what it was going for the entire film. 80s style dialogue, choppy editing, fade outs, and upbeat and consistent soundtrack all come together to form a quality and classic 80s film. This is a real cinema experience and truly can't be matched when watching it at home on physical media. I encourage you to reach into your pockets to get to the biggest screen with the loudest sound you can, because Top Gun Maverick occupies and delivers some insane thrills. The soundtrack is phenomenal and incorporates the new generation of Top Gun music with the originals, and to hear familiar music that made Top Gun as iconic as it is truly honoured the original while also utilising to make its sequel so much more satisfying for its devoted fans. A lot of major blockbusters have been delayed over the last couple of years due to COVID, and unfortunately this film has been delayed a total of 7 times over the last 4 years. As I'm sure that this film would have been completed a long time ago, you could tell that as certain events regarding its cast occurred, namely the illnesses of Val Kilmer, the movie was adjusted throughout its delays to fit with these situations, which was actually fantastic. Beautiful tributes and new scenes were obviously added in as the film was continuously delayed, and to know just how much the team behind the movie was dedicated to making this as best as they could is truly something that needs to be appreciated, since they could have completed it in 2019 and left it until now to release. Top Gun Maverick is heaps of fun, and that's all it ends up being. It incorporates some really comedic lines, some intense action, but it also does have its heartfelt moments as well. The new cast additions were quite good. While none of the supporting cast really have any solid character development, their performances are still good enough to sustain the entire movie and not feel out of place alongside Tom Cruise. Miles Teller was surprisingly great as Goose's son Rooster, and he channeled Anthony Edwards' performance from the first movie to form his own interpretation of how his son would be, and it actually really worked. However, my favourite addition to this cast was Jon Hamm. He was perfect for the role he was in. He remains serious the entire time and provides quite a lot of dry humour. Aside from Tom Cruise, Jon Hamm was easily the highlight of the entire movie for me. This film was made to be seen in a cinema, and despite the amount of money streaming services like Netflix and Apple TV Plus were throwing at Paramount to try and get the movie's distribution rights, I'm glad that Paramount held strong and patiently waited until they could find a time when they could release the film in cinemas, because as I said before, this just wouldn't have been the same at home, and once you see it, I can guarantee that you'll be considering going to see it a second time. As much as I loved every scene of Top Gun Maverick, I couldn't help but feel like the first act was terribly paced, with every line of dialogue feeling like it was dragged out, which is actually why I didn't think this movie was perfect, as it did feel like it took a while to get truly exciting. However, the pacing of the second and third act punched it to the maximum with the planes and dogfight sequences, because they're just incredible and arguably are some of the greatest action sequences ever produced on film. Everyone involved in this film should be very proud of what they've produced. It's exhilarating and really exciting, and it never fails to be respectful to fans, but if I had to choose which of the films I liked more, I'd choose Top Gun Maverick over the original. However, the iconic status of the first Top Gun movie will always overshadow the sequel. This is one of the most worthy sequels of all time, comparable to that of Terminator 2 and The Dark Knight. Having a lot of treats, surprises, and references that die-hard Top Gun fans will inevitably pick up on was also another aspect that I really liked. Punching the air is a mandatory thing to do by the conclusion of this film. Top Gun Maverick packs in thrilling action, jaw-dropping stunts, incredible music, a great performance from Tom Cruise, while also delivering a solid story and honouring the fans as well as the original film. It delivers everything that a Top Gun fan could want, and as a fan of the original, I could not have been more satisfied. If you're a fan like me, you're going to absolutely love it. Get excited for this one because it's worth every cent, so I'll give Top Gun Maverick an 8 out of 10. Thank you all so much for watching. Are you going to see Top Gun Maverick? Let me know below. As always, be sure to have a look at my previous reviews of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and The Batman. Be sure to follow me on Letterboxd and Instagram for all of my latest movie reviews. This has been Kia's Reviews, signing off for now.
Don't forget to like, follow, and obey.